Hello everyone, my name is Nate. This is Throttle Only. Behind me I have a Chevy Corvette Stingray 3LT. Let's check it out. All right, so let's get right into some of these details. Let's start out with this color. This color is in torch red, and depending on the lighting and angle, looks like deep orange. So the trims that are available for the Corvette Stingray are the 1LT, the 2LT, and the 3LT. And you can also choose which kind of model you want as well. They have the coupe version, and then they also have a convertible. This one is going to be the coupe version. With that version, you will have the removable top that stores in the trunk. So MSRP for this car is $91,070 US. It's going to have a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 engine. The transmission is an 8-speed dual clutch automatic. It's going to be rear wheel drive, and it's going to push out 495 horsepower, 470 foot-pounds of torque. And this can go 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. However, keep in mind it is rear-wheel drive. And the top track speed is 194 miles per hour. All right, so this is also going to have the Z51 package. It's going to have performance Brembo anti-lock brakes, performance suspension, performance exhaust, electronic limited slip differential, Z51 specific front splitter and spoiler, performance rear axle, high performance run flat summer tires, and lastly, heavy duty cooling system. Okay, so let's get right into the looks on this thing, because this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Starting with the hood here, there are so many body lines on this hood, 8 body lines just in the front here. It is absolutely amazing. You're gonna have like this 2 right down the center, and then some on the sides, and then right over these wheel wells as well. My goodness, it looks so aggressive. As we move on down, you're gonna have a beautiful Corvette logo, and then below that, you're also gonna have a Corvette logo that is in black. You're gonna have some front cameras here as well, just in case you need to see what is in front of this front splitter, because this car is pretty low. It is also gonna have a lift system as well, so if you're coming up to a speed bump, maybe even like your driveway or anything like that, push the button inside the car and it'll go ahead and actually lift the front end for you. And then you're also gonna have so much venting here. You can take it out on the track and make sure that engine is nice and cool. And then lastly, these beautiful headlights. This honestly looks like a Lambo. Most people have been coming up to me like, what is that thing? Obviously it's a Corvette if you read it, but oh my goodness, these headlights look so amazing. When the turn signals are on too, you're gonna have a nice LED amber indicator on there. All right, let's go ahead and look at the side of this vehicle. Okay, so now looking at the front of the vehicle, you're gonna have these massive tires here. These are gonna be 245 in the front, and they have a beautiful black chrome to them. You are gonna have some massive Brembo brakes as well that are going to help you stop this on the track. And then as we move on down, starting with these mirrors here, you are gonna have LED indicators on them. You are gonna have blind spot monitoring system on them as well. And as we continue down, you're gonna see these massive body lines everywhere. It looks so good. You're gonna have one up here and another one down here, and you're also gonna have a splitter as well. And then you might be wondering what this giant black thing is right here. That is actually going to help with cooling the engine. The engine is going to be in the rear, so this is gonna go ahead and push some nice cool air back there. You're also gonna have your gas cap right here, and then you are gonna have 305s in the rear, so this is going to have a pretty nice staggered stance to it. So this version is also going to be the coupe version, which includes a hard top here. It is going to have some beautiful carbon fiber on the top, and you can also store it in the trunk as well. All right, so looking at the rear here, there is a lot going on. We'll go ahead and start up top. Firstly, you are going to have a reverse camera that's going to be here. Your engine is going to be in the rear, and that will block your complete view when driving, so that's why they have that there. It has some pretty cool contours on it as well, And there are some beautiful body lines at this roof here that kind of extend all the way from the rear to the front there. Also, you're going to have this glass area here that is tinted, but you can see the engine through that. There is going to be 3 areas of functional venting on each side as well. And then as we move on down, you are going to have a Stingray logo just in the rear on top of the trunk there. A beautiful spoiler, which is going to be a part of that Z51 package I talked about earlier. And then coming on down, you are going to have a Corvette logo there. Your third brake light is going to be here, and then you have these beautiful turn signals here in red. You are going to have a reverse camera, which is going to be just above your license plate. You're going to have a pretty nice rear diffuser, and then you're going to have some performance exhaust as well. Cannot forget these ventings here, which is going to help cool that engine as well. All right, so while I'm back here, let's go ahead and take a look at this key fob here. This is what it looks like. You are going to have your lock, unlock controls there. This is going to have a front trunk as well. And then to release the rear trunk, you can push their alarm button, and then you will have a remote start. Let's go ahead and do that and see what it sounds like. Okay, so that's what the Corvette sounds like. Let's go ahead and look at the engine bay now. There are going to be 3 different ways that you can open the trunk. You can push the button just under the spoiler there. You can also push a button inside the vehicle, or you can use the key fob. All right, with the trunk open here, let's go ahead and look at this trunk space. This is going to be the area you're going to store your hard top, but you can also put other things back here. Just keep in mind, it is going to get extremely hot because your engine is right there. So let's take a look here. Some beautiful carbon fiber here on the sides. Corvette engine. So this red is actually an option. It's a $495 option that you can add just because, I mean, this is in torch red, so why not? And I think it looks really good. And then you are going to have your window just behind that, and you can see right into the cabin there. This glass is also very reflective when you're in the driver's seat looking back. And then when you're all done looking at your engine, you can go ahead and close it here. And this is going to be soft close, so you can just push just a little bit, and then it will do the rest for you. Okay, so since your engine is going to be in the rear, you're going to have a front trunk as well, and that is going to be your storage instead. So we will go ahead and use the key fob here to unlock it, and I will show you inside. So inside the front trunk here, you're going to actually have a pretty good amount of room. I just have some camera equipment in there, and it is decently deep as well. Okay, so now it's time. Let's go ahead and step into the vehicle here. Firstly, to do that, slide your hand under here and push, and there you are. So now coming up to the vehicle, first you might notice it does have frameless windows. You have some pretty nice soft touch material down here with some nice red stitching to match the exterior color. You have a Bose sound system, which sounds really good. You are going to have some automatic memory seat settings there as well. Some beautiful carbon fiber. You're going to have your window controls and mirror controls there as well. Your lock and unlock and your door open button is going to be down here. And to do so, you usually grab here and push like this. Then you'll also have your front trunk unlock and your rear trunk unlock. There is a small amount of storage in this area here. And then coming into the vehicle, you're going to have a beautiful Stingray logo right here. You're going to have your automatic seat controls right here. These seats are going to be heated and ventilated. Starting at the top, you're going to have a beautiful Corvette logo there. Some beautiful red stitching as well. Carbon fiber. These are bucket seats. And you are going to have red seat belts. Underneath, you're going to have a aluminum dead pedal as well as your accelerator pedal and brake pedal. and it will also have some rubber on there for some traction. Looking at the passenger door panel, it will be pretty much the same as the driver's side. Stingray logo here, and then same beautiful seats as well. Another thing I'll note, since this is a track car, you are going to have this little thing here. So these doors are going to be electric assisted when you open it with this button here. So just in case of an accident or a dead battery, you can go ahead and lift here and it will open the doors. Okay, so I am in the passenger seat now. I want to show you how much room there actually is. I am 6'1", and you can see I am resting here comfortably. Probably my only complaint would be it is a little tight on this left side for me. But these do have these bolsters on here, and it feels pretty good in here. I'll also add, there is a lot of stuff going on up here. You have some beautiful contrast stitching. You are going to have some pretty soft touch material that you had on the door panels. And then there's a lot of dimension and weird contours that are going around up top here as well, but it looks pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm in the driver's seat. You can really tell that this is a driver-oriented car just being in here. You can tell the infotainment system is facing the driver. You literally have a wall blocking off your passenger from this side, and then all of these controls are facing you as well. You're going to have ventilated seats, heated seats, all of your AC controls there, and your passenger section is going to be just down here. You will have a pretty nice center console here as well. Something pretty cool about this is if the car is off, say you have your top off, someone tries to steal something, this actually won't open, which is pretty awesome if the key is not within proximity. You're also going to have some wireless charging back here. You can just slide your phone into here and it will charge your phone and also keep it in place because there's not too much storage here. And then in the center, you're also going to have some cup holders. I usually just put my phone there. You're going to have a mode selector button, which is wrapped in some nice leather, and you can kind of just sit your hand there and then turn the dial. Some decently beautiful carbon fiber there as well. You're going to have three switches as well. It's going to have your front camera, your front lift, and then also your traction off button there. And then all of your gear shifting is going to be electronic. So you're going to have your parking, reverse, neutral, manual mode, and then your drive auto. Before I turn on the car, I want to give you a view of what it looks like being in the driver's seat. You can see everything is oriented towards the driver. On the left side here, you are going to have controls that will control your head-up display, information, also its brightness. Below that, you will have a electronic parking brake, and then also your brightness for your digital instrument gauge cluster. This has a nice square-shaped steering wheel that's wrapped in leather. It does have some red contrast stitching. There is a nice Corvette logo in the center. It's going to have some pretty decently sized paddle shifters that are mounted to the steering wheel. On the left here, you're going to have cruise control options. It does not have adaptive cruise control. On this side, you will have a heated steering wheel, your phone options, as well as your menu options for inside of the digital gauge cluster, volume controls, and also your skip favorites here. Interesting thing about these buttons down here is you cannot push them like this. You actually have to push them from behind. All right, so with the vehicle on, this is what your digital gauge cluster will look like. I'm currently in Tour. There are different modes here. You can use this selector right here to change it. I'll go ahead and do that now. There is my mode. And when you change things, you'll also be able to edit and configure everything that you would like right here. This is Tour. Sport mode. And track mode. So track mode has a pretty decent amount of information there and is very different from the other modes. So if you want to change this bit right here, you'll use this right here, and there's just a bunch of things that you can choose. We'll go ahead and choose tachometer there. Let's do numerical. There we are. So that'll have our RPM. So I'll go ahead and shift it into neutral here. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and go back to tour mode. And then so you can continue to select specific things down this menu. This is also going to have a pretty nice area of carbon fiber that wraps completely around. Then you have more of that contrast stitching just above that, and you will have a head-up display as well. So looking at the infotainment, you will have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Your home button is going to be here, and your volume knob is going to be there. I think these should really be on this side, because as you're driving, you can see now it's completely blocked. There was a while there I didn't even know it existed, so I think it really should be over here. This is going to be a pretty standard infotainment. Primarily, of course, you're going to be using these two, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can adjust any sort of settings and stuff like that if you would like. Climate control, Amazon Alexa, Spotify, Chevy Maps, stuff like that. You can access your camera from there as well, but you can also just push this. It is very responsive as well. You're going to have PDR. There's pretty awesome stuff in here, so you can record lap timers and stuff like that. Different recordings. You have to insert an SD card and you can actually record your driving. We'll go ahead and go back to home here. And then we'll look at settings just real quick. Of course, this is going to be where you can change all of your things with the vehicle. Lighting, power door locks, ride height, seating position, stuff like that. And then you can specifically tailor it to a user. Okay guys, I am in this beautiful Corvette. It's time for a 0 to 60. So this has a built-in performance timer already. So let's just punch it in normal drive mode. Oh my God. This thing is so fast. All right, we gotta do another one real quick. I'm gonna shift this time. There is a lot of wheel spin. Oh my God. Oh, it is so hard to get traction. So 3.7 seconds, 0 to 60 is what I've been getting pretty consistently off camera. Honestly, I don't even care about the 0 to 60 times. Like, this is so much fun. The engine is behind me. I can just hear it roaring. It has awesome performance exhaust on it as well. I have dope visuals here. I can customize my head-up display, so if I'm in my Z mode, my sport mode, the head-up display will change, as well as my digital instrument cluster as well. Downshifts like lightning. This is insane. Oh my God. This car is so much fun. I literally cannot describe how much fun this thing is. And the looks are absolutely amazing. So many people have been coming up to me like, hey, can I take a picture of your car? I'm like, it's not my car, but sure. And I don't blame them. I really love these red seat belts in here, all the carbon fiber bits, the stereo. It is a Bose Performance series and it kicks butt. It blasts. All right, this is my absolute new dream car. It's like a performance car, but you can actually afford it, right? So Lamborghinis are super expensive, obviously, to purchase and maintain and stuff like that. But I mean, starting at around 66K MSRP for one of these beautiful new generation C8s, that's a steal. And it honestly doesn't even have to be fast. Just the looks alone just takes it for me. So, all right, guys. So I really hope you enjoyed this review of the Corvette Stingray 3LT. If you did, consider subscribing, consider leaving a like. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.